Hey everyone, welcome back to SwitchTop. Today we're counting down the top 25 best single-player games on Nintendo Switch. These are the games you can dive into solo and have an amazing time from start to finish. Let's get into it. The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening puts you on Koholint Island after Link washes up on shore following a storm at sea. You wake up in a stranger's house with your sword missing, and you quickly learn that to escape the island, you need to wake up the Windfish by collecting 8 instruments hidden in dungeons across the land. The gameplay follows the classic top-down Zelda formula, where you explore the overworld, solve environmental puzzles, and fight enemies using your sword and various tools you'll find, like bombs, bow and arrows, and the hookshot. Each dungeon has a unique theme and boss, requiring you to figure out puzzle solutions and navigate through rooms in the right order. The remake gives everything a toy-like visual style that looks like a diorama come to life, and it runs smoothly whether you're playing docked or handheld. You can also create your own mini-dungeons using chambers you've completed and share them, adding a creative element to the classic adventure. It's a perfect entry point for newcomers to Zelda, while offering plenty of nostalgia for returning players. A short hike drops you into the role of Claire, a young bird visiting Hawk Peak Provincial Park who wants to get cell phone reception to receive an important call from her mom. The only way to get a signal is to climb to the very top of Hawk Peak Mountain. This is an exploration game where you freely roam around a beautiful island filled with hiking trails, beaches, forests, and cliffs. You move around by walking, running, and gliding using your wings, but your stamina is limited at first. The core mechanic revolves around finding golden feathers scattered throughout the island, and each one permanently increases your stamina, letting you climb higher and glide farther. There's no pressure or time limit. You can just wander around, talk to the various animal characters you meet, help them with small tasks, play mini-games like beach stickball, go fishing, or search for hidden treasures. The pixel art style combined with a peaceful soundtrack creates an incredibly relaxing atmosphere. You can complete the main goal in about an hour or two, but taking your time to explore every corner of the island is where the real joy comes from. Metroid Prime Remastered brings back the groundbreaking first-person adventure, where you play as bounty hunter Samus Aran, investigating a distress signal on the planet Talon 4. You arrive to find space pirates conducting experiments with a dangerous mutagen called Phazon, and you'll uncover the tragic history of the Chozo civilization that once inhabited the planet. The game plays as a first-person exploration shooter, where you'll navigate through interconnected areas, scanning objects and enemies to learn about the world and find weaknesses. Combat involves locking onto enemies, strafing around them, and switching between different beam weapons and visors that reveal hidden paths and secrets. You start with basic abilities, but gradually unlock power-ups like the Morph Ball that lets you roll into small spaces, bombs, the grapple beam, and various suit upgrades that open up previously inaccessible areas. The remaster updates the visuals to look stunning on modern displays, while offering multiple control schemes, including motion controls that feel natural and precise. The atmosphere is incredible, with each area having distinct environments from frozen wastelands to magma-filled caverns, and the sense of isolation as you explore an abandoned alien world is unmatched. Blasphemous 2 continues the dark fantasy tale of the Penitent One, a silent warrior who awakens in a strange new land where a monstrous deity called the Miracle has taken hold. Your goal is to prevent the birth of a prophesied child while uncovering the twisted religious mysteries of this nightmarish world. This is a challenging 2D action platformer with Metroidvania exploration, where you'll fight through interconnected areas filled with grotesque enemies and punishing bosses. Combat is methodical and requires careful timing. You have a main weapon that you can choose from 3 options at the start, each offering a completely different playstyle, from quick strikes to heavy charged attacks. You'll dodge enemy attacks, parry incoming strikes for counterattack opportunities, and use special abilities powered by fervor that you build up through successful hits. As you explore, you'll find prayer beads to upgrade your stats, rosary beads that grant passive bonuses, and prayers that act as powerful magical attacks. The Gothic pixel art is disturbing and beautiful at the same time, with incredibly detailed sprite work and animations. The difficulty is high, but fair, teaching you enemy patterns and rewarding patience and observation over button mashing. Super Mario Galaxy and its sequel send Mario into space after Bowser kidnaps Princess Peach and uses the power of grand stars to create a massive galactic empire. You travel between dozens of unique planetoids and galaxies, each with its own gravity mechanics and creative level design. The core gameplay takes 3D Mario platforming and adds spherical gravity, letting you run all around small planets, walk on walls and ceilings, and leap between different gravitational fields mid-jump. You'll use Mario's classic moves like the triple jump and long jump, but you also get the Star Spin ability that lets you attack enemies, activate objects, and get extra airtime while jumping. Power-ups like the Bee Mushroom let you fly temporarily, the Boo Mushroom turns you into a ghost that can float and phase through walls, and the Cloud Flower creates platforms under your feet. Each galaxy has multiple power stars to collect by completing different objectives, and the variety in level themes is incredible. You'll platform through toy-filled rooms, navigate honey-filled bee kingdoms, surf on manta rays, and run on 2D planets that shift perspective. Both games are bundled together on Switch with updated controls that work great in both handheld and docked modes. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition takes place on the Bionis and Mechonis, two massive titans frozen in combat whose bodies have become entire worlds inhabited by organic and mechanical life, respectively. You play as Shulk, a young scientist who gains the ability to wield the Monado, a mystical sword that can damage the mechanical Mechon enemies that suddenly attack his home colony. After tragedy strikes, Shulk sets out on a revenge quest that evolves into a journey to understand the true nature of the world and prevent a greater catastrophe. The combat system is real-time but strategic. You control one character while AI controls your party members, and you auto-attack enemies while positioning yourself and timing special arts abilities that recharge over time. The Monado gives Shulk visions of the future during combat, letting you see deadly enemy attacks before they happen and giving you time to warn allies or change equipment to counter them. Exploration is a huge part of the experience, with massive open areas full of side quests, hidden locations, and collectibles that improve your party's stats. The story spans over 60 hours and deals with themes of destiny, revenge, and the cycle of violence, with genuinely surprising plot twists. The Definitive Edition adds a completely new epilogue chapter called Future Connected, updated visuals, and remastered music. Dragon Quest I and II HD 2D Remake brings two foundational JRPG adventures back to life, with a visual style that blends pixel art and modern lighting in a way that feels nostalgic yet vivid. The journey begins with the lone hero of the first game, a focused adventure centered on classic turn-based combat and exploration across towns, dungeons, and monster-filled fields. The mechanics keep things simple but atmospheric, letting you gradually grow stronger while learning spells and managing resources with every step. The second game expands the scale with a full party system, offering more tactical depth and interaction between characters, making battles feel livelier and more strategic. Both games feature added story content, new dungeons, and smoother progression systems like the scroll and sigil mechanics, giving more control over how abilities and magic are unlocked. While it keeps the old-school pacing and grinding that shaped early RPGs, the remake enhances accessibility to make it enjoyable for modern players without losing its classic identity. For anyone who enjoys single-player adventures that value exploration, gradual growth, and a genuine sense of journey, this remake delivers a faithful yet polished experience that celebrates the roots of the genre. Bayonetta 2 continues the story of the titular Umbra Witch as she fights through hordes of angels and demons in stylish, over-the-top combat. The game opens with Bayonetta shopping with her friend Jean when they're suddenly attacked by demons, and during the battle, Jean's soul gets dragged to Inferno, the demon realm. Bayonetta must journey to the sacred mountain of Fimbulventer and descend into Inferno itself to rescue her friend before it's too late. The combat system is all about chaining together punches, kicks, and gunfire into elaborate combos while dodging enemy attacks at the last possible moment to trigger Witch Time, which slows down everything except you and lets you unleash devastating counterattacks. You can equip different weapons on both your hands and feet, from swords to whips to hammers, creating tons of combo possibilities. Magic builds up as you attack, and when your gauge is full, you can summon massive demons to finish off enemies or trigger powerful climax attacks. The game constantly rates your performance with medals, encouraging you to fight stylishly without taking damage. Between combat encounters, you'll solve light environmental puzzles and occasionally battle colossal boss enemies that span entire levels. The pace never lets up, the action is fluid and responsive, and the game runs at a smooth 60 frames per second on Switch. Trails in the Sky First Chapter on Nintendo Switch delivers a single-player journey built on character growth and layered world building, making it ideal for players who enjoy slow-burn storytelling with rewarding payoff. You follow Estelle and Joshua Bright, two young Bracer Guild apprentices who set out on what seems like a routine journey, but gradually uncover political intrigue and deeper mysteries across the kingdom of Liberl. The game blends exploration, guild missions, and meaningful NPC interactions that evolve as the story progresses, giving the world a believable sense of life. Combat uses the AT bar system, where turn order is visible and strategy revolves around positioning, timing, and managing CP to unleash powerful S-crafts. The Orb Mint system adds customization, allowing abilities and magic to be shaped through quartz combinations, giving depth to character builds beyond leveling. Battles mix tactical planning with satisfying impact, striking a balance between accessibility and complexity. Outside of combat, the pacing alternates between peaceful town tasks and rising tension, creating a natural rhythm that keeps progression engaging. Every region feels distinct, and the gradual shift from everyday guild work to major threats makes the adventure feel earned rather than rushed.
Looks like there aren't any monsters around here now.
Must have ran away in fear from the great Bracer Estelle.
You're not a Bracer yet. Yeah.
Hades 2 builds on the foundation of its predecessor, while delivering a deeper single-player experience driven by fast action, strategic builds, and a mythological atmosphere that feels alive with every run. You take control of Melinoe, the princess of the underworld, and each attempt to reach the surface becomes a test of reflexes and planning. Combat is fluid and responsive, allowing you to switch between melee, ranged, or magic styles, depending on the weapon and abilities you unlock. The Arcana system introduces tarot-like cards that shape each run with passive boosts or tricky modifiers, pushing you to adapt instead of relying on one build. Omega abilities add another layer of strategy, rewarding precise timing and smart resource use. Even after failure, progress never feels wasted. Resources carry over, allowing upgrades and new options that expand your choices in future runs. The Crossroads serves as a hub where interactions, upgrades, and narrative development unfold, adding charm and authenticity to the world. Boss battles are intense and rewarding, demanding awareness of attack patterns and weaknesses. The blend of replayability, evolving builds, and character-driven storytelling creates a loop that stays fresh well beyond the early hours.
For what you did to me.
Unicorn Overlord is a tactical RPG where you play as Elaine, the exiled prince of Cornea, who must reclaim his kingdom from the evil Zenoiran Empire that conquered it years ago. You'll travel across a massive fantasy world, liberating towns, recruiting allies to your cause, and building an army to take back your homeland. The game uses a unique, real-time tactical battle system where you organize units of up to 6 characters, set their battle tactics and positioning beforehand, then watch them automatically fight based on your instructions. Between battles, you'll explore the overworld, complete side quests, manage your growing army, and make choices that affect the story and which characters join you. Each unit member has different classes, like knights, archers, mages, and healers, and you'll need to build balanced squads that can handle various enemy types. The rapport system lets characters build relationships that unlock powerful team attacks and affect the narrative. You can also liberate and rebuild towns, which opens up new shops and resources. The hand-drawn art style looks gorgeous, with detailed character portraits and beautifully animated combat sequences. With over 60 recruitable characters and multiple story paths based on your choices, there's tons of content here for strategy fans who enjoy deep tactical gameplay mixed with kingdom management.
Victory is ours. I have you.
It's up to you.
NieR Automata takes place thousands of years in the future, where humanity has fled to the moon after machine lifeforms from another world invaded Earth. You play as 2B, an android soldier sent by the human resistance to fight the machines and reclaim the planet. The story explores heavy themes about consciousness, existence, and what it means to be alive through multiple playthroughs that reveal different perspectives and truths about the war. Combat is fast and stylish, blending hack-and-slash action with bullet hell shooter segments where you dodge waves of projectiles. You have light and heavy attacks that can be chained into combos, a pod companion that fires ranged shots and special abilities, and you can equip 2 weapons at once that you can switch between mid-combo for varied attack strings. The game also includes RPG elements, where you install plug-in chips that modify your stats and abilities, letting you customize your playstyle for more damage, better defense, or special effects. Exploration takes you through post-apocalyptic ruins, desert wastelands, and forests reclaimed by nature, with side quests that add depth to the world. The camera perspective shifts between standard third-person action to top-down and side-scrolling views during certain sequences. Sea of Stars is a turn-based RPG that follows 2 children of the solstice, named Valir and Zale, who can channel the powers of the sun and moon. They're trained as solstice warriors, with the mission to fight against an alchemist known as the Fleshmancer, who creates monsters called Dwellers that threaten the world. The game pays homage to classic 90s RPGs with a modern twist, featuring turn-based combat where timing matters. You can press buttons at the right moment during attacks to deal extra damage or reduce incoming damage when defending. Combat uses a lock system, where enemies have colored locks above them, and you need to use matching attack types to break their locks before they can unleash powerful moves, adding a strategic layer to every fight. There are no random encounters. You see enemies on the map and can choose to engage or avoid them. You'll explore diverse environments, from coral islands to mountain peaks, solve environmental puzzles using your moon and sun powers, and swim or sail between locations. The pixel art is incredibly detailed, with beautiful lighting effects and smooth animations, and the soundtrack was composed by Yasunori Mitsuda, who worked on Chrono Trigger. The pacing is excellent, with no grinding required, and the game respects your time while still offering optional challenges and hidden secrets for completionists looking for more. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown follows Sargon, a member of an elite group of warriors called the Immortals, who serve the Persian Empire. When the prince is kidnapped, Sargon pursues the kidnappers to the cursed city of Mount Kaf, where time itself is broken and the past, present, and future blur together. This is a Metroidvania-style action platformer with incredibly tight and responsive controls, where you'll run on walls, air dash, and use various time powers to navigate through challenging platforming sections. Combat is fast and skill-based, with parrying as a core mechanic. You can deflect enemy attacks at the last second to open them up for counterattacks, and mastering this is essential for tougher enemies and bosses. As you explore, you'll gain new abilities like a grappling hook, double jump, dimensional rifts that teleport you short distances, and time manipulation powers that let you create clones or slow down specific objects. The map is huge and interconnected, with secrets hidden everywhere, and the game includes a brilliant screenshot feature that lets you take pictures of areas and pin them to your map for later reference. Boss fights are intense pattern-based encounters that test both your combat and platforming skills.
Embark on an amazing journey into a world filled with excitement and deadly encounters as you delve further and further into Mount Koff's mysteries to find the Prince of Persia.
Dave the Diver puts you in the wetsuit of Dave, a diver who gets roped into catching fish during the day for a sushi restaurant that operates at night. The game takes place around the mysterious Blue Hole, a body of water that mysteriously changes its ecosystem daily, bringing new fish and secrets to discover. During daytime diving sessions, you explore underwater areas in a 2D side-scrolling view, catching fish with harpoons, nets, and tranquilizer darts while managing your limited oxygen supply. You'll encounter different marine life, some peaceful and some aggressive, and you need to avoid or fight dangerous creatures while collecting fish and resources. At night, you help run the sushi restaurant by serving customers, hiring staff, and creating a menu from the fish you caught earlier, with better quality fish resulting in happier customers and more money. The money you earn goes toward upgrading your diving gear, weapons, and oxygen tanks, letting you dive deeper and explore more dangerous areas. The game constantly introduces new mechanics and story elements, from underwater photography missions to farming fish in your own fish farm, boss battles against giant sea creatures, and even a whole environmental storyline about protecting the Blue Hole. Luigi's Mansion 3 has Luigi and his friends invited to a fancy hotel for a vacation. But it turns out to be a trap set by King Boo, who captures everyone except Luigi. Now Luigi must explore the last resort hotel, from the basement to the rooftop, capturing ghosts and rescuing his friends floor by floor. Each floor is themed differently. There's a medieval castle floor, a movie studio, a dance hall, a museum, and more, with unique ghosts and environmental puzzles specific to each theme. You use the Poltergust G00 vacuum to suck up ghosts, after weakening them with your flashlight's strobe, and you can slam captured ghosts into the ground or other ghosts to deal damage. The big new mechanic is Gooigi, a goo version of Luigi that can squeeze through bars, walk on spikes, and access areas normal Luigi can't reach, and you can switch between them instantly, or play co-op with a friend controlling Gooigi. Environmental interaction is incredibly detailed. You can vacuum up pretty much everything from tablecloths to decorations, and many secrets are hidden by experimenting with the environment. Boss fights are creative encounters that require you to figure out how to expose the ghost's weakness using your tools and the environment. Cuphead tells the story of Cuphead and his brother Mugman, who lose a bet with the devil and must collect the soul contracts of other debtors across Inkwell Isle to repay their debt. The game is a run-and-gun action platformer heavily inspired by 1930s cartoons, with every frame hand-drawn and animated to look like vintage rubber hose animation. The main focus is boss battles tough, multi-phase fights, where bosses constantly transform and throw different attack patterns at you that you need to learn and overcome. Each boss is wildly creative, from a giant flower in a botanical garden, to a pirate ship, to a trio of phantom train conductors, and they all require memorizing patterns and executing precise movements. Between boss fights are run-and-gun platforming levels, where you jump and shoot through environments filled with enemies while trying to collect coins. You can equip different weapons like spread shots or homing bullets, and special attacks called super arts that consume cards you build up by successfully hitting enemies. There's also a charm system where you can equip passive abilities like extra health or increased damage. The difficulty is intentionally high, and you will die many times learning boss patterns, but the game is fair and each death teaches you something. Astral Chain is set in a futuristic city called the Ark, humanity's last refuge against interdimensional creatures called chimeras that are corrupting the world. You play as a rookie officer in NieR, a special police force, and you're given a legion, a captured and controlled chimera, bound to you by the Astral Chain. Together with your twin sibling, you'll investigate the source of the chimera attacks and uncover conspiracies within the city. The combat system is completely unique, where you control both your character and your legion simultaneously. You attack with your weapon, while your legion attacks independently, and you can send it to different positions to attack from multiple angles, or wrap the chain connecting you around enemies to bind them. You'll unlock 5 different legion types throughout the game, each with different abilities. The Sword Legion is fast and aggressive. The Arrow Legion attacks from range. The Arm Legion is slow but powerful. The Beast Legion lets you ride it for speed, and the Axe Legion can create defensive barriers. Outside of combat, you'll investigate crime scenes by scanning for clues, following trails, and interviewing witnesses, adding a detective element to the action. The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom finally lets you play as Princess Zelda herself as the main protagonist. The story begins with Link rescuing Zelda from Ganon, but then mysterious rifts appear across Hyrule that swallow people and places into a dark void, including Link. Zelda escapes and must now save Hyrule and rescue Link by investigating these rifts and discovering what's causing them. The gameplay completely changes the Zelda formula. Instead of using a sword, Zelda uses the Tri-Rod that lets her create echoes, which are copies of objects and enemies she's encountered. You can summon beds to reach high places, create blocks of water to swim up, or spawn friendly monsters to fight for you. This creates a puzzle game where almost every challenge has multiple solutions based on the echoes you've collected. You can have several echoes active at once, letting you build elaborate structures or command a small army of creatures. Zelda can also enter sword fighter form for a limited time, letting her fight directly with a sword like Link. But you need to manage an energy meter so you can't rely on it constantly. The game uses the charming, toy-like art style from Link's Awakening Remake with a top-down perspective. Fire Emblem Three Houses places you as a mercenary who becomes a professor at the Garreg Mach Monastery, a military academy where students from 3 different nations train together. You choose one of 3 houses to teach the Black Eagles from the Adrestian Empire, the Blue Lions from the Holy Kingdom of Fergus, or the Golden Deer from the Leicester Alliance. The first half of the game focuses on teaching your students and building relationships, while the second half jumps forward 5 years into a war where your former students are now on opposing sides, and the choices you made determine which faction you fight for. The gameplay splits between monastery exploration, where you talk to students, complete quests, build support relationships through activities, and tactical turn-based battles, where you command units on grid-based maps. Combat uses the weapon triangle system, where swords beat axes, axes beat lances, and lances beat swords, plus magic and ranged units. Permadeath is an option, where fallen units are gone forever. But you can also play on casual mode, where they return after battle. You customize your students by teaching them different weapon types and skills, and when they master certain requirements, they can change classes to become knights, mages, archers, flying units, and more.
Let's do it, now.
Ori and the Will of the Wisps continues the story of Ori, a guardian spirit, as they search for their owl friend Ku, who gets separated during a storm and crashes in a decaying land called Naiwen. The forest is dying from a mysterious corruption, and Ori must restore it while searching for Ku and uncovering what caused this blight. This is a Metroidvania platformer with an emphasis on fluid movement and exploration. You'll run, jump, dash, and glide through beautiful, hand-painted environments, and the movement feels incredibly smooth and responsive. As you explore, you'll gain new abilities like grappling to specific points, burrowing through sand, launching yourself off projectiles, and even bashing off enemies and objects to reach new areas. Combat has been expanded from the first game with multiple weapon types and spirit shards that act as equipable abilities, letting you customize your playstyle for melee, ranged, or magic-focused builds. The game features challenging platforming sequences that require precise timing and quick reflexes, especially in escape sequences where you're fleeing from collapsing environments. Boss fights are epic encounters against massive creatures that test both your combat skills and movement abilities. Super Mario Odyssey sees Bowser once again kidnapping Princess Peach, but this time he's forcing her into marriage and traveling the world collecting items for the ceremony. Mario teams up with Cappy, a sentient hat whose sister was also captured by Bowser, and together they chase Bowser across various kingdoms in the Odyssey airship. The revolutionary capture mechanic lets Mario throw Cappy onto enemies and objects to possess them and use their unique abilities. You can become a T-Rex to smash through obstacles, a Bullet Bill to fly across gaps, a Goomba to stack with others and reach high places, or even a tank to blast through walls. Each of the game's kingdoms is a massive sandbox environment with completely different themes, from the photorealistic humans of New Donk City to the Mexican-inspired desert of Toast Arena to the food-themed Luncheon Kingdom. Your main goal is collecting power moons, which fuel the Odyssey, and there are over 800 of them hidden throughout the game. Some moons are rewards for completing objectives, others are hidden in clever spots that reward exploration, and some require tricky platforming challenges. Mario's movement is more expressive than ever, with advanced techniques like dive jumps, roll cancels, and hat bounces that let skilled players traverse kingdoms in creative ways. Dragon Quest XI's follows the Luminary, a young man marked with a special symbol who discovers he's the reincarnation of an ancient hero destined to save the world from darkness. After his powers awaken, he's branded as the Darkspawn and blamed for evil events, forcing him to flee his village and gather allies to prove his innocence while stopping the true evil threatening the world. This is a traditional turn-based JRPG where you explore towns, talk to NPCs, complete quests, and fight enemies in random encounters. Combat lets you control a party of up to 4 characters from your group of 7 companions, each with unique abilities. The Luminary uses swords and magic. Eric is a thief with critical hits and status effects. Veronica is a powerful offensive mage, and so on. You can switch between party members between turns and use the Pep Power system, where characters become pepped up during battle and can unleash powerful combination attacks with other pepped characters. The skill system lets you invest points into different weapon types and abilities for each character, allowing you to customize their roles. The S version on Switch includes voice acting in English and Japanese, an orchestrated soundtrack, and the ability to switch between 3D graphics and a beautiful 2D mode that looks like classic Dragon Quest games. The story is epic and spans over 80 hours, with emotional moments, memorable characters, and plot twists that genuinely surprise.
Some more! Come on! Phew.
The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom picks up after Breath of the Wild, with Link and Zelda investigating strange occurrences beneath Hyrule Castle. They discover an ancient evil sealed away, and their investigation accidentally frees Ganondorf, causing catastrophic events that send Zelda back in time and corrupt Link's arm. Link awakens to find Hyrule changed, with floating islands in the sky and a vast underground realm called the Depths. The new abilities completely transform gameplay. Ultra Hand lets you grab and attach objects together to build vehicles, bridges, and contraptions, limited only by your imagination. Fuse allows you to combine weapons with materials to create unique effects and dramatically increase durability, solving the weapon breakage complaints from the first game. Ascend lets you phase through ceilings to reach the surface above, and Recall reverses the movement of objects through time, letting you ride falling debris back up or send enemy projectiles back at them. The world is now 3 layers: the Sky Islands above, the surface Hyrule, which is changed with new caves and settlements, and the dark depths below, filled with powerful enemies and valuable resources. The building mechanics open up incredible creativity in solving shrines and combat encounters, whether you're making flying machines, battle tanks, or elaborate Rube Goldberg contraptions.
Ah. Hmm?
Hollow Knight Silksong puts you in control of Hornet, the skilled warrior from the first game, who wakes up in a strange land called Farloom after being captured and brought there against her will. She must ascend through this kingdom of silk and song, fighting her way upward to reach the top of the kingdom and uncover why she was taken and what dark forces are at work in this unfamiliar realm. The gameplay builds on the Metroidvania foundation of the original, but with Hornet's completely different moveset. She uses a needle and thread as her primary weapon, with faster, more aggressive combat compared to the Knight. She can dash through enemies, perform aerial combos, and use thread abilities that bind enemies or create traps. The new movement abilities let her zip to certain points, bounce off walls in new ways, and traverse the environment with more speed and fluidity. Instead of collecting soul for healing and spells, Hornet builds up silk through successful combat, which she uses for powerful special abilities and healing, encouraging aggressive play. The world is structured differently, with a focus on verticality, as you climb upward through diverse biomes, from coral forests to gilded cities to bone-filled caverns. Boss fights are intense, skill-based encounters, with complex patterns that require mastering Hornet's movement and attack options. The game features over 150 new enemies, multiple quest lines with unique characters, and the haunting, atmospheric style that made the original beloved. And that's our top 25 best single-player games on Nintendo Switch. Whether you want epic RPG adventures, challenging action, or just a relaxing hike, there's something here for everyone. What single-player games would you add to this list? Drop your favorites in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more Switch content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.